I call Israeli citizens to not join the army, and also those who are in it now, I call you to stop doing what you're doing and join the part that wants to solve this in a humane political way. One of the main functionalities of the Israeli army is to maintain occupation of the Palestinian people, and I did not want to take part of such organization that uses force to do those things. I feel, as a human being, I feel terrible for what's happening. I think it's yet another evidence to the fact that you cannot occupy and oppress and suppress other people in a sustainable way. Also, I know a lot of people are trying to create symmetries between the sides, I condemn violence on both sides, but it's very clear that this is not an even game. It's not two states and two militaries fighting against each other. It's very clear that there is civil population under very long occupation and closures.
And they call to all the soldiers participate in the war, to try to think for themselves about what they are doing in this war and why this war happens, and to not take for granted everything that comes out of the officer's mouth and of the IDF spokesman, mail, or I don't know, outbox. Its entire target is to create a good place for Jews, regardless of what happens to the Palestinians, and they are creating a hierarchy between the Jews and the Palestinians. And I don't want to serve an organization that its entire aim is creating a hierarchy. And that's obviously without even mentioning the extreme violence that Israel is using in order to execute this plan of a hierarchy and Judifying the entire land. I said almost with every operation Israel is doing, I feel more satisfied with my decision. I can't call anyone not to not join the army because it's a very severe crime in Israel. So I said I called to the entire Israeli public to resist the war in any non-violent way they can.
Seeing what's happening right now in Gaza just makes me very, very angry. The policy of the Israeli government is so cruel. It's so dehumanizing to Palestinians. So I think I made the right choice by not joining the Israeli military. I mean, it's awful, just bombing one of the most dense places in the world. I want to fight against it. I don't want to take part in it. So I'm happy that I didn't take part in it, and that I don't take part in it now. Just, teenagers that are being, put in uniforms and that are being given guns are not. They are responsible for what they do, and they do need to be conscious of what they're doing. But the big responsibility is on the Israeli government. I think in Israel there's a lot of propaganda through media, through news outlets, and we see it now that there are videos of what happened in Al-Aqsa that are just nowhere in the Israeli media. Nobody shows them. So the Israeli public doesn't have like a full scope of knowledge. They just, like the general publics that only get their knowledge about what's happening through the news, they just don't know. There are just so many things that are happening that they aren't aware about.